Good morning.
Good morning, Anita.
All right. Just to let you know, this meeting will be recorded so that participants who were not able to join us can view it later. And today's meeting is about using the graphic organizers in ReadyGen. So I'm going to go ahead and start sharing my screen and show you how to get those graphic organizers from ReadyGen. And I also had a few other questions from a couple teachers, so I'm also going to try to address those as well.
Miss Anita,
Yes, ma'am.
I gotta go for now, but is it okay if I
Your
click on
video
later?
and you toggle your
Yeah,
sound.
that's fine.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, and like I said, it's recorded, so you can always come back and view it later. The
Okay.
recordings are available on the website.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Right? Huh? Right, so I'm going to be starting at our Savas Realize in ReadyGen, and I chose third grade just because it's right in between kindergarten and fifth grade. So I'm going to head over to the teacher's guide in Unit 1, and I'm going to open that up. And as you can see, the first graphic organizer that they use is, and it does take a little bit. I go to the 2-page view, it's a little bit quicker. I'm going to flip through these pages fairly quickly because I know it's a little further in here. And right here. So this one is the character chart. So I'm going to find this in, if I go back over here, it's actually in the teacher resources. So if I go to printable resources and I look under here, I can find it under graphic organizers. So if you got lost, I'm going to go back again and I'm going to show you again. So from this main page, under teacher resources, printable resources, open that up, printable teacher resources, graphic organizers. I'm going to go ahead and load this into my Google Drive. I like to go ahead and put it in my Google Drive so it's there. I have this extension right up here, and you can get that from the Google Chrome store. And I can also upload it straight through Cami right here, but I'm going to put that in my Google Drive, and I'm also going to open it in Cami. Now I do not need this one. I was looking for my 4-column chart right here. So since I do not need the other ones, I'm going to head over to the split and merge tool, and it's under these 3 lines, which I call the hamburger. Let's split and merge and continue. Now if, for instance, the directions in here indicate, if I go back to, let's see if I have it open still here. If I look here, it says use a small group discussion routine. Have students discuss the characters in the story. So it has them sharing, circulating among the students or groups. So if I want to use this page as a collaborative assignment, and now I'm going to have trouble finding it. Here it is. I can do that, and I can also, let's say, upload 2 of these. So as you know, I put this in my Google Drive. So I'm going to look for my organizers, my graphic organizers, and I'm going to add them again. And I have 2 sets now. And I'm going to drag page 3 down from here. And I'm going to look for page 3 again further down. and now I have 2 of them because I want my students to be working collaboratively on the same sheet, but I want them to have enough room to write on them. Sometimes these little bitty boxes do not give enough room, even though I want them working on the same page. Um, so I'm going to open this back up in Cami. So what I did there is simply just grabbed 2 of the same document, split them, and merged them together. So I did both things. I split them up, but I also merged 2 of the same things. And as you can see, they're sideways. So I go back to my hamburger and rotate them. And now they are where they need to be. And if I want further directions with this, I can always come down here and add a page. But then if I want that at the beginning, so if I add a page here, I have to go back to my split and merge. But that gives me a whiteboard, so to speak. So if I want it at the beginning, I go back to my split and merge, and I have to rearrange those pages, which doesn't take too long. I just go back and move it and export it again. But now I can give my directions to my students using this and rotate it again. Using the tools that I have over here, like the comment tool and the video tool, my screen capture tool is going to allow me to use my, um, what's it called? My writing tools. Maybe if I go back to my ReadyGen and it tells me, um, we talk about actions, events, motivations. It has me modeling. So I may be using some of the book. I may even grab a screen capture of the book and put that on my whiteboard that I have made here. Oops. And I can upload that onto here using images that I've put in my Google Drive or that I've uploaded to my computer. So I can upload anything that I put on my computer into um, my document here, just as I would in um, any other document like that I use in Drive. And then I can put that in my screen capture, my instructions as I'm telling my students what they need to do on this page. So then when I assign this to my group that I want them to work on, so if I have 4 or 5 students working on these 2 pages, I can assign it to only those students. The best thing about this one is when I assign this, is when I go to create assignment, is I can restrict the amount of tools that are on this side here. So if I don't want my students using um, the screen capture tools, the video tools, if I just want them using the text tool, because I want them to write inside those boxes, then I'm going to delete all of those except for that text box. And that's the only one that they'll be able to use. Or if I do want them to be able to use audio and talk to each other or use video and talk about the book that they're writing about, then that's the one that I'll click as well. So I have those options when I create this assignment, and I simply put OK and save it. I probably wouldn't take off the select tool that allows them to move their text around if they make a mistake and put the text box somewhere that it shouldn't be, they can move the text box around. So keep the select tool on. When I'm making a collaborative assignment such as this for graphic organizers and things like that, I do want them to share this one copy. So I would take it off the make a copy for each student and make it as a shared copy. And of course, Use this one for example. I would select the students that are going to be sharing this document. All right, so some of the other tools, if you're new to Cami and not sure how to use it, the students do have the dictionary tool available to them. They have the teach the text to speech tool, which allows this to be. Okay, so that didn't turn out right. So what we need to do is probably run the OCR, and um, because this has text running two different directions, it may not work perfectly, but we can try it. And we'll hope that it doesn't flip it, because it has done that to me too. So it's not always perfect when you run the OCR, but what it does is it allows the PDF to be recognized as text. And we'll see what it does. So it flipped it back. Let's this didn't quite work. But if we use text in here, it will recognize the text and read the text to them. So that's still available. Hopefully you were able to hear that. I'm not sure if it goes through. Markup tools, the students have all these different markup tools available to them, or you as a teacher when you're editing um, the assignments before you give them out to the teacher, you can put anything on here before you give it to the students. Just know that anything you put on here, if you do not use um, this right here to flatten the text, the students will be able to move those text boxes around. So if I put text out here, oh, hello students, just says I can move it around, the students will also be able to move it around unless I use this and I flatten my annotations and I export it. And then that text then becomes flattened as a flat document. And then they won't be able to move that around. So it goes into my Cami uploads as an export. And so now when I open it with Cami, let me move it back the other way. Yeah, that text, I can no longer change it. I can't move it. I can add more text, but it's flattened to the document now. So that's what that flatten annotations does. I didn't realize I was so low on the document, but there it is where I put hello students. And that goes for images as well. If you add images and you flatten it, and also with comments, if you put video comments, it will also flatten them and you will not be able to see the video comments. So careful with that tool. So if you do want to flatten the text so that students can't move it around, do those before you add those video comments or audio comments. All right, I'm going to go back over here because I know I went a little quickly. See if there's any questions. This Ida Web, I I do believe that Cami can be beneficial for preschool. There's um, there's a lot that the students can do as far as just communicating with the teacher and using those videos and showing the teacher, I guess, their work. using those drawing tools. So maybe not like text, but even maybe just the text to speech and learning about text early on and how um, our words can be represented as words. Um, Things like that, those early skills like that. And I don't know if you've been to some of my other ones, but using um, like slides to build some of your work and making those interactive fun games really is what they are, and putting it into Cami so that they can play with those um, are still pretty fun for the little kids, and the kids being able to use, like I said, you can take away a lot of those tools so it's not too many for those little ones. um, I think would still be fun and not too overwhelming and too many tools for the kids to have to use.
Wash. So, do you know? Hold on. Do you know if there's going to be a preschool specific training like that we would get so we would know how to take those tools away and things like that?
So I spoke with Mary Ann kind of late on Friday, and she was going to have a meeting to find out what I guess what was going to be required, and going to see how much of these tools that they're going to be needing. I know it's a little different on the iPads with Cami, but when I did second grade, my kids used the Cami tool um, on the iPads before we had Chromebooks, and we're able to use it pretty efficiently. So I think if trainings are needed and everything, I'll be able to get something put together if necessary.
Okay, thank you.
All right, so I had a question from one of the teachers, and so I did show how to download the PDF from ReadyGen, and that was into Cami. So back in Savas, someone was wanting to know how to assign work through here. So you can assign work through Savas and not have to use Cami, which you just go into one of these modules and you click options and assign. You do have to have your class set up. And so the class I have set up is my virtual classroom. And I have a few other classes in here. And then you just click your class, put your due date, things like that. Students do have to go through their class link and do the assignment in Savas Realize. So it won't actually go through Classroom, but it will still be connected because it's connected through your Google Classroom. So you go through classes and import Google Classes down here. And so if you haven't done this yet, you should be able to see the classes that you're connected to and in Google Classroom and click it. So, and then just click the class that you want or the curriculum that you want it connected to and import it. Let's see. It's not going back. I want to import later. All right. Any other questions? Nope. And I don't see the person that was going to join us that had questions. So I'll go ahead and it says how to make a copy when taking So how to make a Cami copy, I think is what they're asking. So making a copy from Cami kind of works two different ways. So because this goes into the cloud, has a Cami cloud, you actually go here and you save it in your drive. So it goes into your Cami uploads. You can see all changes have been saved, but you can go ahead and save now. You might want to change the name so you know what to look for, because obviously these odd names right here are going to be kind of hard to look for in your drive. But if you go to your drive and you look in your folder, Cami uploads, this is where everything that you've created in Cami will go to. So you should be able to find all of your Cami assignment or Cami assignments that you've created in here. If you want to make a copy, you can go in here and right click it and make a copy through here. So there's your make a copy on that one. To share it, I would go to share it with a person. You do want to, I'm going to just pick Steven for now. Make sure that unless you want to collaboratively work on this and let them make changes to your document, put them as a viewer and go ahead and send it. I rarely make people where they can make changes unless it is something that we are working on together. But if it's just something I want to say, hey, check this out, you can use this, they can make changes on their own if they want to. But if it's mine and I created it and that's how I want it, then I usually just put them as viewer. They can make their own copy and should make the changes if they want to on their own copy. And that's all the questions that I have. And anything else that I need to go over while I have all y'all here? I know it says till 11:30, so I kind of give like time for questions, but any of the tools in Cami that you're not sure of? I know there's some of this stuff up here, maybe some of these things that I don't.
Anita, what would be
Stayed
the
on.
reason for making a copy?
What would be the what?
The reason to make a copy?
Reasons to make copies, like whenever we're sharing to the lesson bank, or if you're sharing with a colleague and they want that same lesson, you usually don't want to share your original because they could mess up your original copy. So yeah, just make a copy before giving out that one. Does that make sense?
Yes, thank you.
Translating, it has different languages in here. Let me find where I have so many Cami. So let me try to do my best Spanish here. Estudiantes. I could be wrong, but it doesn't actually translate, although it has different voices. What it does, it has like a dialect. So if you have something in Spanish, it will kind of read it in that dialect. And I don't know if you can, and it's not reading. I know it's not working. I don't know. Could you hear that? Can you hear when it's reading? Okay, so I can hear it, but it yeah, it really, it just gives so if you have something in Spanish, it'll read it more fluently in that language, but it doesn't actually translate the words to that language, if that makes sense. If it's in English, it's going to read it in English, but it in a weird, so like the hello students, it said hello students. And so I don't know how to explain that, why it has those, but if it's like in the Spanish, it does say hello estudiantes, and it sounds more Hispanic than like your, I guess, your typical hello estudiantes, you know. So it kind of makes it more authentic, I guess, but it does have to be in that language. So it doesn't actually translate, but whenever it is in that language, it it's more authentic. Yeah, I guess that's a good way to explain it. All right, ladies and ladies, because I only have ladies that join me today. Um, that's about all there is on adding graphic organizers and how to use that with collaborative groups and how to assign it to a group. So thank you for joining me, and I hope to see you all again soon. Bye, guys, girls.
Thank you.